Hey guys, we are in the basement and today we're going to be doing part number 2 of the Pac-Man Cabaret restoration. That's right, the long-awaited part number 2 of the Pac-Man Cabaret restore. And I apologize for the delay. I've kind of been procrastinating. I've also been kind of acquiring little bits and pieces, but we're going to be making a little bit of progress this week. I think this Pac-Man restoration might be a long video series because there's actually a lot to do on this. So what we're trying to do right now initially is I want to get the game working. That is my first goal right now. I want a working game. I want to have that as a starting point, and then I'll start restoring it and making it look good. So we're going to be focusing today's video on starting to get the game working. And anyway, before we go to the garage, I do want to mention that my new podcast, Arcade Outsiders, is now for real. We did our first episode last week. If you guys want to listen to it, go to arcadeoutsiders.com. That's arcadeoutsiders.com. The podcast is on iTunes and Stitcher and it's everywhere. So just do a search for Arcade Outsiders in iTunes. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a review. Actually, that helps us a lot, believe it or not. If you leave us a review, that would be fucking awesome. Sorry, that would be awesome. So, anyway, check it out, Arcade Outsiders. And by the way, that show is live every Tuesday night, 11 p.m. Eastern on allgames.com. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get to the garage and let's start working on the Pac-Man Cabaret. All right, guys, here's where we are with the Pac-Man Cabaret restore. And since the last video, I have done virtually nothing to this. I did start to research the vinyl material that I'm going to need to replace here. So let's kind of quickly review. This cabinet needs a lot of woodworking here on the bottom. You can see the corners just chewed up and missing. So we're going to Bondo and replace that wood. We're going to square off all the corners and we're going to replace the vinyl. Now, the vinyl has kind of become an interesting topic here because I've been trying to find a suitable replacement for this vinyl because I really want to match the original. And actually, I'm starting to wonder what is original, because I think that the vinyl that's on the front of this game is not the same vinyl that's on the sides of this game. Now, I actually ripped off some pieces of vinyl here from the front and the sides. This piece right here came from the front, okay? And this piece here I ripped off the side, and it's not the same color. The sides is actually a little bit darker. So now I'm starting to wonder that maybe at some point the vinyl on the sides was replaced. I'm not sure, because it seems to me that the vinyl on the front looks a lot more original. It just looks like it's really on here, and there's just no indication to me that this was replaced ever, and that this is the original material from the factory, whereas the sides, I don't know, it just seems like this stuff comes off really easy. Maybe it's original, maybe it's not, who knows, maybe the vinyl wore differently, maybe the front was in the sun and the sides weren't, I'm not sure, but it sure looks like the sides are a lot darker than the front. And I think the grain, it's hard to tell. It looks like it might be the same. I'm not sure. The front seems to have a lot more gouges in it. Maybe it's just, maybe the front got more abuse and maybe that's why it's not as dark. I'm not sure. So what I did do though is I went online, and I went on eBay, and I found this 3M Di-noc vinyl material here, and I ordered some swatches. I'm trying to find something that is a close match to the original vinyl. And so far, what I found is that this Marine Teak, it's called Marine Teak by 3M Di-noc vinyl, is a pretty darn close match to what's on here right now. Now, if we hold this up, let me turn the light on. So if we hold this up to the sides here, that's pretty close. I don't think the grain is exactly the same, but the color sure is pretty close. And if we hold it up to the front here, let's see if we can tell. But yeah, that's pretty close. It's a little more brown and a little less gold than the original, but man, it's not bad. I have a feeling that if I were to buy this vinyl and put it on here, I might be pretty happy with it. But I'm not quite yet ready to commit to this 3M Di-noc because it's actually pretty damn expensive. A 48-inch roll costs $30 a foot. Now, this cabinet is about 5 feet tall and 24 inches deep. So for the sides, I need a 5-foot piece because it's 24 inches and the roll's 48. So a 5-foot piece would be enough to do both sides. And then I'll need about 3 feet for the front. So I need about 8 feet of this material, which is going to cost about $240 plus shipping. And that is super steep. And I'm not sure I want to do this. I think this is a really high quality stuff. It's 3M. It has like air channels, and I heard it's really easy to work with. I guess people use this for architectural stuff, for like stairways and walls, and the automotive guys also use this because this stuff has really great stretching properties. It can wrap around things, whatever. So I don't know. I'm not going to commit to this yet. If you guys know of a suitable, good quality replacement that can replace this original Midway vinyl that's not going to cost over $200, please let me know. However, I might just bite the bullet and spend the $200 on it because this cabinet cost me $0, all right? So if I spend a couple $100 on the vinyl, I'm doing okay still, I think. But I don't know. That is pretty close, though. The grain is a little tighter than what was originally on here. And again, I don't even know if this is original on the sides. It probably is. I think it just wore, it just kind of, the color faded differently because maybe the front was more exposed to the sun, who knows. But anyway, if you guys know of a replacement, let me know. Okay, so since the last video, I actually picked up a monitor for this game because when I got the game, it was missing the monitor. And my friend Pete hooked me up with a 13-inch G07 monitor right here that was originally in a Centipede Cabaret. And he actually rebuilt the monitor and it should be ready to go. So we can just drop that in and then we're done. Because what we want to do today is I want to actually get this game working. Before I start tearing it apart and restoring it, because I think it's a safer way to proceed. If the game is working and we know it's working before we take it apart, that way we know when we put it back together if we did something wrong. Because if we take it apart now and we don't know if it works and then put it back together, we don't know if we put it back together wrong or if it was not working all along. So I want to get the game working 100% before we start taking this whole thing apart. That way, it's just a much safer way to start the project, and that way we know that we can get back to where it was, and if we can't get there, then we know we did something wrong when we put it back together. So, all right, so we got the monitor. It should be working. Now we need a PCB. Now I have been unable to secure myself a working Pac-Man PCB. I've been looking on eBay, and you guys have been sending me links, by the way, to eBay auctions, and I really appreciate it. But I am trying to do this on the cheap, and I don't want to spend over $100 on a Pac-Man PCB plus shipping. It might be $150 because I'm convinced I could probably get one for around $75 working. So I'm still looking. I'm looking. But for now, I think what we're going to do is we're going to take my Miss Pac-Man PCB and we're going to put it in the cabinet to see if it's working. Now, Miss Pac-Man PCBs are basically Pac-Man PCBs that have been modified, because Miss Pac-Man is actually a modification for the Pac-Man PCB. It was developed by some guys in Cambridge at General Computing Corporation or whatever, and basically all it is a daughter board add-on right here for a Pac-Man PCB, and then you also swap out these two ROMs, and that's it. So once we determine that this Miss Pac-Man PCB is working, and it should be, because this is my old Miss Pac PCB from my cabinet. I pulled this from the working game and I put the MAME computer in. So once I determine that this PCB is working, I think we're going to convert this to a Pac-Man by removing the daughter card, putting the Z80 that's right here into this slot, and then swapping out these two ROMs from this Pac PCB. Now, this is the Pac PCB that came with the cabinet. My buddy Walt gave me this. This Pac PCB is actually missing a daughter card that goes right there, or a custom chip. You can see this PCB, these PCBs are identical. The Pac-Man one here is missing this chip right here, which is right here. On this PCB, it's a custom. It also can be a daughter card that goes here, or it will be a custom like this. And I'm also missing the Z80 on this. And the edge connector here is pretty burnt up. I think that I'm gonna try to get this Pac-Man PCB to work to save some money, because this PCB overall is pretty clean. So I think I'm gonna repair the edge connector right here. And then I'm also gonna find a Z80 for here, and then also a daughter board to put in here. And hopefully we can get that working. But for now, we'll use this Miss Pac PCB. So, okay, so why don't we get started? I wanna put the monitor in the game first. So let me set up the tripod and let's start taking this thing all apart. All right, we have the tripod set up here. So the first thing we want to do is we got to take this bezel off, and we got to be careful with this bezel too, because this is original silkscreen glass. It's in really good shape, and I don't want to trash it. So when we pull this out, I got to be very careful that I don't scrape it up. So to get this off, we need to remove these two security nuts right here. There's one here and there's one here. So I'm going to go ahead and get my bit set here, and actually, they might just be regular old Allen. I'm not sure. No, they are security bits. There's a little nipple inside here around the Allen type shape. So inside the Allen type shape. So let's see if we have the security bit that'll work. And I've dealt with these Midway security screws a million times on the Trons and the tappers and all that. So I should have the bit. Let me take a look. And I buy this security bit set right here on eBay for like 10 bucks, and and it's a great set. I actually lose the bits all the time, which is why I have more than one set. So, all right, let's go through here. Come on, I better have the right piece. Nope. But you can find these bit sets at like Harbor Freight or the cheapo tool stores. There we go. That one's going to work. So we're going to use this one. It's actually kind of like a star bit with a hole in it. I don't know if you guys can see that. But that's the security bit that we need. All right. So I'm going to get my little electric screwdriver, and let's go ahead and get these screws off. Okay, there's the first one. And let's get this guy off. And I wonder if we need to take the control panel off. I think we do, actually. So let's take the control panel off. And we should be able to do that from the inside of the coin door. So we're going to open the coin door. Oh, I guess we're not, because the lock, it's locked. Son of a bitch. Okay, so we have, oh, look at this. Not only is it locked, there is a key broken off in it. So we're gonna have to, well, actually, let me go in from the back here to see if we can get to that. But if you look there, there's a key broken off in it. That sucks, because we need to open that coin door. So let's go back here. And, okay, this is actually not going to be a big deal. I was worried we were going to have to drill the lock, but we can get right to the door right here from the back. So let me just grab a flat screwdriver. And so we're just going to go in here and just pop this off. Oh, there we go. Well, that was easy. Okay, the coin door's open. For a second there, I thought we were going to have to drill the lock. And that's typically how you have to undo locks that you can't get to from the inside. You'll have to just drill them out. And we got lucky there. We didn't have to do that. So, all right, so let's go in here and let's see if we can get this control panel open. And there's two little latches. And let's see here. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to go ahead, I think for now, let's just leave it on there because we're going to be testing it soon enough. So let's remove this bracket. Okay, so now we should be able to take the bezel off. And again, I want to do this very carefully because this is original glass. silk screen. It's probably a little delicate. And we're just gonna kind of take our time here. See if we can get this out. Let me get a screwdriver. Okay. And we're just gonna gingerly lift this out. But look at this. This is beautiful. And this is all original, baby. So I think we're gonna triple thick this because I don't want to risk losing this silkscreen stuff on the glass. Because is this? Yeah, this is glass. Because I know in the last video I couldn't figure out if it was glass or plexi. Sure feels like plexi. No, it's glass. It's just thin glass. So, all right. So let me put this in a safe place, and I'll be right back. All right, guys. We just hit a snag here. Nothing's ever easy. So I'm getting ready to mount the monitor into the cabinet. And then I realize I don't have any mounting brackets. You see right here? See these two holes? There's supposed to be a bracket on this side and on that side so that we can take the monitor and have it line up with the holes that are right here and right here. And I'm missing the bracket, so this kind of puts the brakes on this. So I'm gonna have to go research this and see if I can find the bracket. If push comes to shove though, I can probably use this frame on this monitor because this one has the brackets built in, but this frame is not exactly right for a G07 because it's not gonna line up with the mounting here. So it's gonna be a little kludgy if we do it that way. So I'm gonna see if I can find the correct brackets and do it the right way. I actually already just called my buddy who has a bunch of 13-inch monitors to see if he has these brackets. So, all right, let me work on this and we'll be right back. All right, guys, actually about 2 weeks has passed here, and I have been unable to find the brackets for this G07 frame. I tried looking on clov.com, and just nobody had them. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take the guts of this monitor, this G07, 13-inch G07. We're going to take the tube, and we're going to take the chassis, and we're going to transfer it to another monitor frame, which is this one right here. Now this is some weird like Cortec monitor or something. I actually broke the neck. This would have been a great monitor, but I guess the Cortec monitors, the colors in them on these monitors aren't so great. But this monitor here has the exact frame that I need to mount into the Pac-Man Cabaret. It has the little tabs here that we need to do the mounting. The only problem is that this frame does not have the right mount for the G07 chassis because it has a mount for this Cortec monitor. So we're going to have to kind of figure out a way to mount the G07 chassis to this frame. So, all right, I tell you what, why don't I just set up the tripod and let's start taking these parts off these monitors and let's do a frame transfer. All right, so we got our two monitor frames here, and the first thing I want to do is I want to discharge this monitor, and we're using our trusty discharge tool, and I've done videos on this a couple times, how to discharge a monitor, but basically we're not going to really go in depth here on this video, but I'm going to go ahead and discharge this. Just want to get the anode off because it's going to make our life easier. Okay, so to get this, and by the way, what we're doing here actually applies for any tube swap. You know, if you were to get an old TV, because guys do that. They get old TVs and you figure out which tube works with which monitor chassis, and you could do tube swaps. Very similar to what we're doing here. Be a similar process. You know, removing an old tube from a frame and mounting a new tube to a frame. So we're going to just go ahead and take these 4 screws off. And then this tube should just kind of fall off of here. And looks like it's also held on. No, It's not actually. I thought maybe these zip strips were holding it on. They're not. They're just holding on the degaussing wire, which is this wire right here. There's a wire that goes all around this. It's a wound wire, and that kind of demagnetizes the monitor every time you turn it on. It's like so it's a degaussing. It's part of the degaussing circuit. All right, so we've got those 4 off here. And so the tube should be free now. There might be a wire. There's nothing holding it on. Okay, so the tube is free. So I'm gonna go ahead and, well, the neck is broken. So getting the neck board off, actually, okay. There it goes. All right, so now this tube is broken. I'm gonna lay it flat like that, not worrying too much about it, because the tube's already hosed. I'm not going to do that with the G07. We're going to probably put a towel down or something. So we're just going to go ahead and disconnect the yoke wires there and the degaussing circuit wire. And so the old tube is off. I'm going to go ahead and put this somewhere. Let me get this out of the way. I'm going to have to dispose. Oh, we still got a connection here. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get rid of that monitor. You're not supposed to throw them in the garbage. Okay, so and then let's take this old monitor chassis off here because we're not going to use this one. And this might be a good. This might be a good chassis, but I just don't have a use for it. So. Alright, so there is our frame. So now we got to move the G07 to that. And I don't think it's going to be too bad, actually. So let's put this to the side. And let's basically do the same thing we did on the other one. I'm going to discharge it. It's just going to get tricky once we get to the part we got to mount the chassis to this new frame. That's when it's gonna get tricky. This part's gravy. All right. So yeah, a couple weeks have passed since the last video, and for whatever reason, I haven't been too ambitious lately. I don't know what it is. I think after doing a couple games in a row, especially after that Gyrus and I did the Time Pilot, I was getting a little burnt out in a way. I think my limit for restoring arcade games is somewhere around 3 per year. I think 2 might be the sweet spot because you know, that just doing 2 games completely is you know, that's about 8, 9, 10 weekends out of the year. But you know, we're running out of time right now, and I want to get this Pac-Man done before it gets too cold out here, because I do want to bring the Pac-Man in the basement. Because I'm going to be putting my cars in the garage here soon, and I can't have all these games in the garage. So I'm going to have to do something about my space situation out here pretty damn quick. So, alright, we're going through here, and we're just removing all these nuts. I'm going to want to probably get like a towel or something, because I'm going to lay the tube flat, and I don't want to trash it. I don't want to scratch the glass. But I've had a lot of you guys asking me where the video for these, where's the new Pac-Man video? And I appreciate the love, believe me. It's actually very motivating. But here we are. We're back in the garage, and in this video, I'd be very happy if I got Pac-Man working on this cabinet. That way I have like a really nice starting point. You know, the game's working, the monitor's working, the board's working, controls are working. Then we can start worrying about the cosmetics. I just kind of like having things working first before I start ripping the game apart and all that good stuff. So, alright, let's get this last one off. Now what we're doing here today, I mean, isn't something you would typically encounter. You know, where you've got a monitor with a frame that doesn't match the cabinet. This just happened to be the G07 that I was able to get, and this came out of an Atari Cocktail. And the Atari Cocktail had proprietary brackets that went on here that I can't use. So I was hoping to find ones that Midway would have used with the G07 style monitor, but I was unable to. Okay, so now we need to be very careful here. We do not want to trash this tube, this neck, or any of that stuff. So let's disconnect everything. I think this is going to be the safest way to proceed here. Okay. Just going to go ahead and disconnect this tube completely. And I just kind of want to get it out of the way right now. Or just get it out of the way while we disconnect the chassis. And I do not want to break the neck on this tube, because I would be screwed. Alright, so let me, I'm going to lay it down here gently on the table, on its glass, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and get, let me go get it. I'm going to put the tube over here on this soft chair. So let me do this real quick. I want to be very careful with this tube. And I don't know if you guys know this, but you know, they are vacuum tubes and they can explode. Actually, they implode because it's a vacuum. So you guys got to respect the glass tubes, because they can be kind of... I've never had one explode on me, but I suppose anything's possible. So, all right, so let's get this old chassis off of here, and it should just be two nuts, and it should just pop off. So, mounting this to the new frame, I sure hope we can figure out a good way to do it. Alright, so there is our chassis. And we can get the other one out of the way. So now we need to figure out a way to mount this to this. Now, we need to respect some things here, because on the bottom here we have all these traces, and it is critical that none of these traces touch any of this metal whatsoever. We need to make sure that when we mount this on here, it is elevated above. See, like right there would be bad, because the back here is touching the metal, which means that those traces on the back are actually touching this metal, so we cannot do it like that. So I think what I'm going to need to do is get some kind of PCB standoffs here. We're going to have to kind of jimmy something up here, and I don't really know what just yet, but I see that I could probably put some PCB feet back here, and the front here is actually elevated by this little piece of metal. So if we were to kind of maybe put this here, and if I got some PCB feet, that actually would work very well. That actually might work completely well. And all right, let me go get some PCB feet, and let's see what we can do here. All right, guys, I went and got some of these PCB feet, which are these little guys right here, and these basically mount on the holes of the PCB back here that allow you to basically mount this onto a flat surface and get it off of the surface so that the bottom is not touching. But I'm looking at this and I'm realizing, though, that if I were to use these back here, and I'd have to use them in a kind of an awkward way like this, basically I would have to remove the tube every time I'd want to work on this monitor, and I'm not too fond of that. So I'm looking in the front here. Now remember, our objective here is to find a way to mount this chassis to this frame without shorting the traces to the metal down here, okay? But I'm looking in the front here, and there's like one screw, right, that I could take advantage of and use an existing screw right here. And I'm thinking, well, what if I were to screw these to the frame like so, and maybe I'll throw some electrical tape over them so I know that for sure they don't short out the bottom, and I'll just use these to basically elevate the board in the back, okay? And I'm only going to attach it in the front with one screw, which I think is going to be fine because it's not like I'm going to be moving this game everywhere. And so basically we're going to end up with something like this, where the board is completely elevated, and we're going to attach it with the screw right here, and I suspect that actually might work out okay. And it's just going to be up off the chassis like so. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I like that idea. It's simple, it's clean, and it's easy, and yeah, I'm going to do that. So let me grab a drill here, and let's drill those feet in real quick. Okay, so what I did here is I carefully put the chassis on the frame, lining up the screw on this side with the mounting screw, and I put some feet underneath here in a spot where they're not touching any circuits. And if I do this right, I should be able to lift this up and they'll stay in place, and then I can drill my pilot holes for the screws. And alright, there's one marked. Let's go ahead and mark this next. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just drill some holes in this. Alright, so hopefully I can just take some of these screws here. Just screw these feet to it. Or not. Or if these screws are good. I'm just kind of using what screws I have laying around right here. This material is kind of tough, isn't it? Actually, these might work. You know, I probably should have went to the hardware store, got the right size screw and the right size matching bit. Well, I didn't do any of that. I'm just trying to make what I have on hand work. Don't judge me. Alright. Okay, I found the right screws here to use, and I'm also using my drill, which has a lot more horsepower. So we got that one in, and these are kind of like little self-tapping screws. Okay. Alright, so we got those in. So you can see we've got our little PCB mounting brackets there, and what I'm going to do now is, just to be extra safe, I'm going to throw some electrical tape over these because they have little metal mounting screws in them, threads. So I'm just going to throw some electrical tape over that just to be safe. So let me go get some. Okay, so I'm just going to throw some tape over these on the ends just to be safe. I don't want to short anything to anything with this chassis. I mean, this is kind of a Mickey Mouse job, but I don't have a choice. I don't have the right monitor frame. I've got a working monitor, I think, but I don't have a way to mount it in my Pac-Man cabinet, so this is going to have to do for us here. So, okay, so let's kind of test out our thing here. And that's how it's going to go. So let's go in the front. And I'm going to take advantage of that one screw that's already there. And then we're just about done here. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this screw out, because this is going to be our mounting screw. And I sure hope this is in here sturdy after I do this, but okay. I might get a zip strip and do that over there too. Okay. Actually, that one screw is not bad. I mean, it's on there. And it's gonna be kind of living like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. I should throw another screw like in here maybe. I'd be worried I hit something though. And let's look back in here. So you can see we've got our little stand-ups there that it's resting on. Yeah, I think this is going to be okay. It's not the best, but it's definitely not bad and it's safe. So, alright, let's put the tube on here. I wonder if I can get a zip strip right in here. Yeah, let me grab a small zip strip. One sec. Okay, so let's see if we can kind of do a little bit of zip stripping over here. Actually, that's going to work out great. Because this monitor is going to be on like sideways, because this is a vertical setup, I just want to make sure that the chassis just can't come off of this. And because I'm putting this stuff on this side, we won't have to take the monitor off. But yeah, that's actually pretty good. Alright, I'm wondering if I should throw one over here just to kind of keep it down. I don't think it's necessary. Alright, I guess that's not so bad. That's gonna work. We're secure and we're not touching the frame. There's no shorts. Yeah, we're good to go. Okay, so let's put the tube on this new frame. And if you remember, this one used these screws, which actually is better and easier. So, all right, let me grab the let's grab the tube. And again, I need to be uber careful here, guys. I do not want to break this neck, because if I do, I'm done. I'm dead in the water. All right, let's see if we clear everything. And looks like we're going to. Okay, so what we need to do is see if this all lines up nice. And it's going to. So this is kind of hard for one person to do. So I need to hold this up and get these screws started. Alright, we got one. Let's get the other. Make sure all the wires are on the right side. And make sure the tube is the right side up, with the hole for the anode on top. Okay, so we got two of them started, so we're kind of home free now. Let's get these other ones going. This wasn't that bad, actually. You know, I was kind of freaking out because I didn't have the right monitor chassis on the G07. I mean, I was lucky though because Walt gave me this Cortec monitor that has the right, you know, mounting tabs on the frame, but I was kind of upset that I didn't have the right G07 frame. And I guess if I didn't have this other monitor to steal the frame from, I would be kind of screwed right now, but luckily I did. Okay. And you just gotta be careful of the gauze wire. It's that wire that goes all the way around the tube, because it kind of wants to be in the way of these screws. Ah, come on. Alright. I think I need to charge my battery. Alright, so it is on. Okay, so now we just need to remake our connections. And so let's go ahead and put the anode in. And just to be safe, even though I know this monitor has been off probably for a while, I'm still gonna just kind of take my tool here and kind of just discharge the monitor really quick because I'm putting my hand there and I don't want to mess with it. So, all right, so we need to make this goes here. And we've got these wires here. But this wasn't too bad. Just hope this monitor works. That's all I gotta say. Okay. And our neck board goes on like so. And then our anode. Now the connections for the monitor are all the way back in there, so that's gonna be a little dicey, but okay. Let's go ahead and put our anode on. And so the anode's got these two little rabbit ears, and you just got to get those in the hole. And you definitely want to, like I said, discharge it before you do this because your hand is right here as you're trying to get these in the hole. There we go. Okay, so that's it. Let me just double check my work. Make sure all our connections are made. There's no loose wires. There is right here. This goes to the neck board. Where does it go on the neck board? Huh. Let me double check. Let me pull this off real quick. So this goes on right here. I think it's a grounding wire. Okay, so I think we're all ready to drop this monitor in. Now, let's just kind of take a peek back here before we stick the monitor in. I did notice that there was a blown fuse on the bottom of the cabinet. Actually, a missing fuse. And I did actually pick up a fuse block for this But my plan right now is to get the monitor installed in here and put a board in and see what the hell happens. Now, I noticed back here that there's a fuse missing, and I don't know why it's missing, but I see that there's not a fuse there, and that's clearly not right, and it's labeled. I can't read it. So I need to figure out why that fuse is missing and what that fuse is for. Because we've got 4 fuses right there, and then we've got 3 over here. And I need to clean this cabinet out, don't I? This is pretty filthy. Those are all labeled. I wonder if these are probably input voltages. This says, I can't read. Oh, it says 5 amps. It's a 5 amp fuse that's missing. I wonder if that, I'm rubbing the ink off. I wonder if that's a slow blow or fast blow. I'm guessing it's a fast, because all of these ones that are slow blow are over here and they're labeled slow blow, and these ones, fuck. All right, I probably should look at the manual right now and see what's going on with that fuse, because I think before I do anything, I want to make sure that all these fuses are working and they're not blowing. So yeah, let me take a peek. Here's a fuse over here that's kind of just hanging out. Is this a 5 amp fuse? I just found this over on the other side of the board. I mean, the floor of the cabinet. I can't really tell. Huh. So yeah, all kinds of little surprises in here. So let me take a look at the manual and let me see what that fuse is supposed to be, if it's a 5 amp fast blow or what. Okay, so I went online and I looked at the Pac-Man manual, and the only 5 amp fuses that are on here are fast blow. In case you guys didn't know, there are basically 2 different kind of fuses. There's fast blow and there's slow blow fuses. And so if the game requires a slow blow, you need to replace it with slow blow. If it requires a fast blow, replace it with a fast blow. You know, the difference there is I think the slow blow have a little bit more of a tolerance, as they won't blow so fast. I think it's literally that simple. So, all right, so I have a 5 amps fast blow. I'm going to go ahead and stick it back here. And I'm wondering if that fuse just fell out. I think that's what happened, because this thing is loose as hell. I think I'm going to replace these fuse blocks, because I've actually bought new ones already, and Pac-Man is notorious for these fuse blocks creating all kinds of problems. I'm looking at this fuse that fell out, and I bet you this is a 5 amp. 2250, yeah, it's a 5 amp. I think. It's hard to read. All right, I won't bore you with that. But anyway, I have a 5 amp fast blow in there. Let me see what's going on over here. Let's turn the light on. Damn it, I rubbed off all the fucking ink. It's all 5 amp. So this is supposed to be a 5 amp too. And that looks like a slow blow that's in there. This is 6 1/4. I think they overfused it. I'm going to throw in another 5 amp fast blow, because I have them right here. So what I want to do right now is I'm going to plug the cabinet in. After we verify all these fuses are good, I want to just plug it in and see what happens. I want to see if these fuses blow, and I want to make sure they're all good. So I'm going to actually do that real quick. I'm going to take my multimeter, I'm going to put it on continuity, and we're just going to go through here really fast, and I'm just going to test all of the fuses to make sure they're good. Just to make sure I have continuity. Okay. All right, so the fuses are all good. I just want to read. That's 1 amp, 1 amp, 5 amp, 5 amp. Okay. All right, so our fuses are all good. I'm gonna plug the game in really fast and just make sure we don't blow anything, especially that one fuse, because that fuse was missing. And I don't know if it fell out or if it was just missing. So let me just get some power here. Okay guys, I have the game plugged in, but nothing's happening. The marquee light's not on, and it's because of this interlock switch right here. Now, we experienced this interlock switch on the Commando, and it's a safety switch. Basically, when the back door is off of the game, this switch becomes open and it kills the power to the cabinet. So when you take the back door off, what you can do is pull this out to turn it on. However, it's not working. This is not, I can't pull it out, so I don't know what's up with that. So if I push it in though, I can see I've got the marquee lights on. So for whatever reason, this type of interlock is not the type that also pulls out. You can only push it in basically to simulate the back door on here. So, all right, so now that we've had power go through those new fuses, I'm gonna unplug this real quick. Now there's no power. I just wanna double check those 5 amp fuses that I put in there to make sure they didn't blow, because I don't know why that fuse was missing. I actually think it was because it just fell out because it was loose. It was a very loose holder. So all my fuses are still working. We just ran some power through that, so I think we're ready to drop the monitor in here. So why don't I go ahead and get that set up, and let's get the monitor in the cabinet, and let's see what happens. Okay guys, we're ready to put this monitor in here, and the way this monitor goes in this cabinet is actually kind of unique. And I don't know, hopefully I can show you guys how it goes in here, but usually on a full-size upright, you're gonna put the monitor in from the front of the game. That's usually the best course of action. On a full-size upright game, almost always it seems like you're going from the front of the game. On this one, you gotta put it in from the back, and what's weird about this one is that half of it is going to be like sitting on this shelf here, and then the other half is going to be back here. And basically, you have to make these nut connections, otherwise a monitor will just fall out, and which is kind of weird. But all right, so now I need to guess here which direction this monitor goes in, and I think it goes in like this, because I might have an upside down picture here if I put this in wrong. So, all right, so I'm carefully trying to negotiate the monitor, and I'm getting fucking tangled up with the goddamn microphone cord. All right, so looking at pictures I've seen online of this. All right, so I need to rest this on the back there, and actually it's the front, and I need to bring this over. God, this is kind of hair-raising. And we need to get it on these screw holes here. Like so. And, all right, the monitor's in. But not until I get these in. It's kind of a stupid design. It's a hairy and scary design. Oh, please line up. It doesn't. Are you freaking kidding me? Ah, there we go. It barely, this frame, you know, even this frame's not quite right. So let me go around on the other side here and make sure these nuts. Ah, shit. So I'm trying to get the head of this nut flush, and it is now. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and tighten these down because I'm not messing around with this monitor falling out. Because that would suck. That would really seriously suck. suck if the monitor fell out. Especially after going through all of this drama with this stupid ass monitor, and if I were to just destroy it right now on film, that would be some funny shit. Okay, so the monitor is in. I've only got 2 of the 4. I'm not worried about the front ones because the front of the monitor is being held on with gravity. The back here, though, if these bolts were not here, the thing would just fall out and be destroyed. One thing to point out here, you could see why the back door of this has that bubble. See how that thing breaks the plane? That monitor is sticking out beyond the cabinet, so we're going to need that monitor bubble. Okay, so let's talk about the connections here. We need to connect power, which actually is a problem because, I don't know, is it going in there? Look at that. I didn't think it would. I've got 2 different types of power plugs, but they actually kind of are going inside each other. There's like a Midway style and an Atari style. I think they're actually playing nice with each other, though. Huh. Well, hey, if that works, I'm not going to mess with it. All right, and then this is a ground right here that we're going to have to connect to the frame. And we'll go ahead and just kind of clip it on there, like so. I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually turn the monitor on. I'm going to turn the cabinet on without the board. And I just want to hear if the monitor powers up. And I'm just kind of testing one thing at a time as we go along here. I don't want to do everything all at once. All right, I just plugged the game in, so let's hit this. Okay, I just heard the monitor turn on, so we've got power. Yep. Okay, so we've got power there. The monitor is coming on. We got HV. So now we can plug the board in. And so we're going to use my Miss Pac-Man board, I think, which is a bit of a hassle because it's got that stupid daughter card on there because Pac-Man is a modded... Miss Pac-Man is a modded version of Pac-Man. And but I don't really have a choice, do I? I want to make sure it's working still as a Miss Pac-Man, and then I'll consider converting it into a Pac-Man. So why don't I go ahead and grab that board, and let's lower the tripod and put that in. Okay, so what we want to do now is just kind of slide our board in here, and this one is a bit of a hassle because we've got this stupid giant Miss Pac-Man daughter board that goes along with this. So, but let's just see if we can... does this thing slide in? It's kind of interesting how this goes in here. Let's see if we can get this to stick in here. I'm just going to have to put that there. I guess that's not so bad. Okay, so we are now ready to plug this in and see if our cabinet works. Okay, so you can see we made our connection up there. Typically, you know, part side's gonna go out. I'm really not worried about plugging that plug in backwards because there's just no other way it could go right in this cabinet. The board is, for the most part, in. It's good enough for just testing here. And I'm just laying my Pac-Man daughter board on the side here. Okay, we are ready for the moment of truth. Do we have a working game, guys? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape that interlock switch down so we can just plug it in. So let me get some tape. Be right back. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to throw some tape over this interlock. I've got the game unplugged right now anyway, so I'm just doing this so I can like actually work on this game with power when I want it. Because otherwise, if I don't put tape over this game's just going to be off. And I'm going to have to come back here and push this stupid button in to do anything, and it's just really annoying. So I know what I'm doing. I know when I have power. I know when I don't have power. Right now, the game is unplugged, so I feel very safe doing this because because these switches are just freaking annoying. Okay, so we taped that off, and the game's still unplugged. We've got our board installed, we've got our monitor, so we're pretty much ready to go here. And let's see what happens. Turn it around. Okay, so, all right, we're ready to do this. Let's come up a little bit. I'm always excited for these first, moments of life with a game, because this is gonna be one right now. So, all right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna plug it in, and let's see if we've got some fucking Pac-Man. And we should have Miss Pac-Man if everything works. Uh-oh, we've got some hum. That could be that fuse block down there, or that could be something else. Come on, give me a picture. Oh, you know what? I didn't plug the video into the monitor. I wonder if it's coins up. No? It's not starting. All right, let's unplug it. I didn't make my video connections. I did not like how that sounded, though, I have to say. So we're gonna have to make our video connections, which are hanging off down there. Don't tell me this isn't gonna work. All right, so we've got our video cables right here, and on the monitor, we've got some plugs back in here. Unfortunately, I don't think there's an easy way for me to show you guys this, because it's like way in there. Guys, put them on backwards. There's one. And make the other one back in here. There's two connectors. There's one that has the RGB and ground, and then the other one has like the sync wires. And okay, so I made them, both of them, and like I said, there's just no way to show you that. Okay, because it's buried. All right, let's try it again. And let's see if we get something on the screen. Oh, okay, good. All right, my board is hosed. I'm okay with that. Wow, the monitor's not really good either, is it? Look at it, it's all at an angle. Great. All right, so the board is freaking out. And all right, so what are we gonna do right now? I'm gonna, I think, reseat some stuff. And let's see what happens. Let me see, you guys can see what's going on here. The board is completely flipping out. All right, so I'm just gonna go through the board here, and I'm gonna look at all the socketed chips. We've got this thing right here, this little daughter board. We've got another one over here with the Z80. I'm gonna reseat this Z80 real fast. This is the microprocessor. I'm just gonna kind of lift it up with my screwdriver. I use like a really flat screwdriver like this and remove ROMs and chips and CPUs and stuff like that. So just, you gotta make sure you put it in the same way you take it out, because there is a right way and a wrong way for this stuff to go. We've got some EEPROMs here. I'm just gonna kind of lift up and reseat this stuff. And we've got a ribbon cable here as well. That could be bad. I'm tempted to just kind of quickly convert this into a Pac-Man and just kind of remove these variables, but I just know that this board used to work, so let's see if we can get it to work again. And it's been sitting in my basement for 5-6 years, however long it is I've had it. And so I'm just going through here and I'm removing chips. There's a custom chip right here. And you gotta be careful when you try to remove these chips, because it's easy to break traces. And I'm trying to get under this damn chip. Not happening. Let's see if I can come from this side. This side will be much easier. Okay. Oh man, look at the legs on that. That is filthy. All right, I'm gonna clean those. Let me go grab an eraser. Yeah, I'm gonna clean the legs on this custom chip, and I gotta remember the way the polarity is on this guy, because we've got a line here and the text. So the line goes towards the Z80. So here, look at these legs. Look how filthy that is. Do you see how dirty those legs are? So we're gonna clean those up with an eraser, and this could be our problem. So let me go get our pencil real quick. Be right back. Okay, so I grabbed just a yellow number 2 pencil, and I'm just gonna take my eraser here, and I'm gonna clean off these legs. And you could do this with a fiberglass. You can get it at Radio Shack. They call it a fiberglass pencil too, which actually I usually use more than a yellow number 2 pencil, but this was handy. I always lose that fiberglass pencil. I don't even know where it is right now. And you can see it's cleaning it up. You really shouldn't use sandpaper on these. I don't know if there's coating on these legs or something, you know. So this is probably the safest way to proceed. And just kind of removing the corrosion, the black. That's basically, hopefully, is what's causing our issues. This is a custom chip, and on some versions of the board, there will be a custom chip in this location, and on other versions of the board, this will be an entire daughter board right here. And this was a Namco custom, I guess, and I think that Midway figured out a way. I think there was a shortage of these custom chips at some point, and they basically figured out how to replace it with an entire daughter board of just standard components, rather than waiting for Namco to get them these custom chips. But Namco kind of has a history of throwing these custom chips on games, and they did this, I think, mostly as an anti-piracy thing. And in fact, my friend Adam is doing a pole position clone board that is a rather daunting project, because he is basically reverse engineering and trying to figure out and recreate these Namco customs, just like Midway had to do when they made that daughter board, except Adam is doing this part-time and for fun, and so it's a rather giant project, and pole position has a gazillion custom chips on it, not just one. It's got like, I don't know, 15 or something stupid like that. So, all right, so let's get in here. I really should find my, fuck. All right, guys, I just ripped a leg off of this custom chip when I was cleaning it. And in my defense, these legs were very brittle and tarnished and in just really bad shape. And I wasn't paying attention to. And I was talking. I was doing a YouTube video while doing this. And regardless, I have just destroyed this chip. And now we can't test the board because I need to go find another one of these chips, or the daughter board that goes in there, because I don't have any of that stuff on hand. And so we are done for today, because I'm not prepared to work on anything else. So let's kind of review what's going on here, okay? So we have installed a new monitor. The monitor is working. It looks like it has a bit of a curved issue to it. hopefully that doesn't turn into an issue because this monitor is supposed to be working fine. So we'll find that out once we get the board working. The board kind of works. I suspect that the legs were just very tarnished, but I broke the legs, so now I need a new chip. So we're going to get back to the board when I get those parts. Everything else, well, you know, I'm still researching this vinyl material, like we said in the beginning of the video. I have some new T-molding in the basement. I was talking to my friend Adam, who has a biscuit joiner, and I think he's going to help me, if I can talk him into it, Adam. I think he's going to help me address that corner down there. And what else? Well, I ordered some parts. Since the beginning of this video. I've actually been filming this video for a couple weeks. I ordered a new power cord. I got this from Bob Roberts. This is a very easy, quick Molex style connector here because the one that's on there now is just really crappy. I got some new buttons. These are the two-tone buttons that you'll find on Pac-Man Cabaret. I ordered new fuse blocks because I just don't like how those fuse blocks look in there. And what else? I also picked up a edge connector kit in case I need it. And if we start having some weird issues with the board, it could be an edge connector that's bad, and I have that on hand as well. So I'm also looking for a marquee. I need a marquee. I need an original Pac-Man Cabaret marquee, and I need a control panel overlay. And we also need to start thinking about this as well. And let me show you guys what I picked up here, and we'll be doing all of this in the upcoming videos. I picked up this stuff. This is a liquid mask, and I'm going to give this a shot. And this is basically like a, I used to use this when I used to do watercolor painting. And if it's the same as when I used to do watercolor, it's basically like a rubber cement kind of that you could paint on. And we're going to paint it over the original artwork and then spray paint the whole thing black. And then when it all dries, we should be able to remove this, and all of that original artwork will be underneath it. And what's great about this stuff is you get a lot of control, and you can put it on with a paintbrush. So that's the plan. I was really hoping to get the game working today here on Sunday, and it's getting kind of late, and I need to move on. So we're gonna call this part 2 of the video, and you know, this is just kind of researching and getting our ducks in a row. And I really want to get this game working first before I start ripping it apart cosmetically, because that's just the way I roll. So we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna get the part I need to fix that board, and we will be back next time. So, all right, guys, let's head into the basement. God, the thing's looking ugly, isn't it? Alright guys, there you have it. That was part 2 of the Pac-Man Cabaret Restore, and was it a little anticlimactic there at the end? So, yeah, it's not, you know, I got so much to do on this thing. Actually, I want to tell you, my friend Adam came over after I finished the video today, and he actually hooked me up with that little daughter board I needed because I broke that chip. So he gave me a daughter board, and we plugged it in, and it was doing the same exact thing. So we tested the voltages, which really, admittedly, I should have done that first. The voltages were around 4.6 volts. Now, I actually didn't test the voltages because for some reason, well, actually, I thought that because this board did work originally, because this was my working Miss Pac-Man board, right? I didn't really think the voltages could be bad. But we did test the voltages, and they were around 4.6 volts. So I think the next thing we're going to be doing on this Pac-Man is rebuilding the power supply on that board. So we'll probably be tackling that next time around. So I'm going to have to order parts, and hopefully I get them in. So I think the next video, I think we're going to be doing the power supply. So because really, and I've said this many times, you want to test the voltages. That's like the first thing you do. And so I didn't do that in the video, and I probably should have. And we did test them, and they were low. So anyway, there you have it. That's it. Subscribe to my channel. New videos every Sunday, and hopefully sometimes in between. And Again, check out my podcast, Arcade Outsiders, at arcadeoutsiders.com. And I also have my other podcast, Video Game Outsiders, at videogameoutsiders.com. So anyway, guys, that's it for me, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for leaving comments. Thanks for being so supportive of my little world, my little channel. So anyway, we'll see you guys later. Bye.